Hi. Different location than usual. I really need to soak. I know your opinion. I was thinking of starting a little series where, for people newer to the scene, I guess, I explain different things about the internet. Like email, the ethics of YouTube, I suppose. Different movies, free and paid. Just things people who are just getting into the whole technology thing, I suppose, like those really stubborn older people, will actually be able to use to help themselves out. Like the new appearances of the power button. Ugh. So, basically, I want your opinion on that. And today, I'm going to talk about... Well, might as well talk about censorship. So, censorship is taking a scene, a comment, or even a part of a scene or a comment, and changing it to suit the audience. Like, over here, large, barely covered breasts is considered censorship worthy. It is a weird place where everyone's really, really sensitive. But, I mean, we're almost known for body shaming. It's sad, and it shouldn't be true. But there's so much of it that I can't see how it's not. To be completely honest, I can walk into the grocery store and feel body shame just by looking at the magazines. I only show myself at certain angles and at like certain amounts of my body because of it. But that's not the topic for today. But anything with what is perceived as sexual gets a higher rating, like M for mature, or if it's minor enough, probably E10 on up, for everyone 10 and up. Or, in the case of movies, heck, they might just remove it. They put warnings about, like, one frame of a butt crack, a behind. Any parent knows that that's not sexual. Even the parents with a unusual sense of exciting in the bedroom. That's not sexual. I mean, for a not straight person, probably that is male, considering the differences between male and female bodies. Maybe. But I I don't see them taking offense to it, considering they're old enough to know about this stuff. And if you have to leave a warning about that tiny amount of what they call nudity, how are your kids going to make it through school? That's what I want to know. Because if you're censoring that small amount of nudity, especially if, like, your kid's a boy and it's a boy who happens to be nude for, like, 1 second, how are they going to make it through school? Think about the change rooms. Think about the swimming pool. Often they show more skin at the swimming pool than they ever will in one of those movies. Heck, even the ones rated M, they probably show less skin. Believe me, often when it says warning sexual content, I have to look for the sexual content to find it at all. Like, I'm not the most dirty-minded person out there, but I'm not exactly the cleanest minded either. Seriously, I can recognize an innuendo. And this is turning into something just about... I'm going like a third of my time just talking about the nudity issue. But it's like, they slap on warning nudity for something like 2 people in bed with the blankets covering everything that I would consider nudity. And what I would consider nudity is literally showing the parts that swimwear covers. And seriously, swimwear doesn't often cover more than that. So saying warning nudity for a pair of shoulders in a bed? Kids see their parents like that, for crying out loud. And if they haven't, their parents have a really dull life. I am sorry for you. Like, even as a woman, I feel the need to go topless in bed occasionally, and I don't even have a bed partner. It's just comfortable, you know? But to slap a warning and a higher rating on it for shoulders. And sometimes just the upper back of a man. It's not even the back of a woman, which would be more worrisome. It's the back of a man who go topless normally. At home, in public, men go topless too. It's not considered nudity in real life. Why would you slap a nudity label on it in a movie? Censorship. Sensitive people censoring things because it makes them just a tiny little bit uncomfortable. Oh, boo-hoo. There was a pair of freaking shoulders being shown in the movie. Poor you. Don't make me have to wait an extra 5 years just because you can't handle a little bit of freaking skin that you see in everyday goddamn life. Got my point? Good, I can move on. If you don't got my point, just, like, rewind, watch it again. You'll get it eventually. Censoring is not always intelligent. I've made my point on that. Like, violence. Almost perfectly fine here, even for children. There have been several Disney movies that start with someone dying. Just look at Bambi and you got my point. And the Little Mermaid's not so far off from that. The Cinderella, they're still a lot nicer than their originals. If you complain about how dark say the ending of My Little Mermaid is, and it's such an old video, I don't think I need a spoiler warning here. When the bad guy gets stabbed in the tummy with a ship. If you think that's dark, look at the original. The girl dies. She turns into sea foam because she couldn't bring herself to kill the man for choosing another woman, essentially, and dooming her to death anyway. The witch gave her the option of kill the man or become sea foam because he won't love you. She could have just gone home. She could have just stabbed in the back, gone home, but she couldn't bring herself to. That's actually a pretty good moral. Don't kill the people you love. So, okay, there was censorship, there was nudity. Ah yes, death and gore. How many people actually know what the word viscera means? I'm not one of them. I just know it's usually, what I've heard of it, has been usually tied in with gore and blood and dead things. If your kid doesn't know about death yet, you haven't gotten them a goldfish to learn about with. But I wouldn't turn your kid into a murderer either, so don't bother. Gore here is almost normal. Just like nudity in other places is normal. We still censor it a little bit, yeah. But just look at Deadpool. Apparently it was more kid-friendly than a couple of other movies that I could probably remember if I tried. You know, movies made for kids that just sort of cross a line that an apparently mature movie wouldn't. Think about that for a second. Mature movies won't cross a lot of lines that children's movies will. And yet they're the ones we're censoring. Missing the point. Censoring is essentially useless. Movies, TV, internet, all that stuff. The only real reason for censoring is like if you violate a contract or a brand name thingy-mabobber. Whatever the heck they are. Censoring is just useless. I mean, I grew up with kids who would surround yourself, or you, or whoever, and say, well, they'd essentially chant something in a very creepy manner. And that came from a kid's show. From my childhood. I'm not old yet. I'm still in my 20s, almost my 30s. Ugh. Kids of my generation. Well, adults of the previous generation. People in general, let's go with that one. Regardless, I have used up my time. Later.